Chapter 6331. Charlie naturally knew all about Jacob's thoughts. He knew that Jacob would not be satisfied with just returning to the Calligraphy and Painting Association, and would definitely think about continuing to climb up until he got back to the position of executive vice president, or even became the president. However, Charlie would naturally not let him be so easy. As long as Orville did not open up the upward channel for president pay, Jacob would not be able to become the president. And with his previous scandal, it would be difficult for him to return to the position of executive vice president. After all, there were several other vice presidents in the middle, and Jacob, who had a dark history, could not squeeze them out one by one. What Charlie wanted was to make Jacob's upward path in the Calligraphy and Painting Association full of thorns, and let him stay in the Calligraphy and Painting Association for a long time in the future. 2 days later, in the morning, Orville came to the door in person. In front of Charlie's family, he took the initiative to say, "Everyone, I will take Master Wade to the airport. I have something to tell him on the way." Claire originally wanted to take Charlie, but Orville insisted that he had something to communicate with Charlie on the way. She had no choice but to compromise and told Charlie, "Husband, you must pay attention to safety, and take care of yourself when you arrive in the Northwest." Charlie smiled and said, "Don't worry, wife, I may often have no signal in the mountains these days. If you can't contact me temporarily, don't worry. Leave me a message. I will reply to you as soon as I have a signal." Claire didn't know that this was Charlie's little trick. She nodded very understandingly and said, "You should do your business." Charlie nodded and said, "Then I'll leave first." Then, the family sent Charlie out of the house to Orville's car. After Orville drove away from Thompson, he did not go directly to the airport, but came to Zijin Villa and picked up Maria. Maria and Charlie sat in the back seat of the car. After the car started, Charlie asked her, "Miss Lin, how has the shipping company of the Warrior's Den been doing these 2 days?" Maria knew that Orville was there, so she didn't need to hide the matter of the Warrior's Den from Orville. But she couldn't let him know her identity and background. So she switched back to the identity of Kathy and said to Charlie, "Brother Charlie, after the Singapore Shipping Company was acquired, its aircraft have been flying intensively on European cargo routes recently. I see that almost all of them are point-to-point trunk cargo between several major cities in Europe. And the companies cooperating with them are all relatively well-known companies. Today, they are still taking over some Air Express shipments that DHL transferred in Frankfurt. It looks very normal at the moment." Charlie nodded and said, Keeping an eye on them. Maybe the normal operation is just a smoke screen. When no one pays attention to them in a few days, they will have other actions." Maria nodded and said, "Brother Charlie, don't worry. I have arranged for someone to be responsible for this matter, and I will tell you as soon as there is any movement." "Okay." Charlie said, "If you have any clues, please tell me as soon as possible." At this time, an Airbus A350 registered in France had been parked at Orus Hill Airport for 2 days. This plane was arranged for Charlie by Steve Rothschild, who had returned to the United States. The plane belongs to a general aviation company in Paris that mainly engages in charter business and has no direct connection with the Rothschild family. When the plane arrived in Orus Hill, Isaac directly arranged for someone to conduct a systematic inspection of the plane to confirm that there were no safety hazards and eavesdropping devices. Only then did he apply for today's flight to Northern Europe. The crew was also replaced by the Wade family's own to further ensure safety, because Ethan had made arrangements. Charlie and Maria bypassed customs and boarded the plane directly from the remote parking position. The A350 is the largest twin-engine passenger aircraft with a very large cabin area. After the modification, 2/3 of the cabin area was directly turned into a private space for passengers. Here, there are not only multiple bedrooms, but also conference rooms and reception rooms. It is more than enough for 2 people.